Hannah,
Hello.
hello.
Hi.
Um, this has been quite a week.
Oh, yeah.
I think I've never had quite a girly week as this week. Um,
Oh,
I
yeah?
didn't play a lot of video games. I spent most of the week reading. Let's call it for content's sake, lesbian smut.
For content.
I spent a lot of time uh, looking at clothes, putting on cute dresses, painting my fingernails, chugging energy drinks, and considering toppling the patriarchy and capitalism. I
I
mean,
just
I don't know how much more of a girl week you could get.
that's what my weeks are pretty well filled with.
Yeah. But I do have the delicious canned estrogen Rise cotton candy energy drink.
That's actually how my doctor started prescribing it, is through energy drink.
I unfortunately it is a knockoff because I sent a photo of this to another trans friend of mine and she said,
Uh-huh.
"No, that's not the real thing. It's not Monster energy drink."
Oh, oh, you see, then I gotta get a new doctor because he's giving me the rye stuff.
Mhm. But it
Mm.
is tasty. It does promise to have 200 milligrams of estrogen in it.
It is very good. Wait, was that estrogen? It's that caffeine, babe.
I can't 20 episodes in is probably a bad time to point this out, but I am actually illiterate.
Oh,
Um,
no.
I can't really read what it says on the container, but I assume that it says estrogen.
No, it's caffeine.
Caffeine.
Yeah,
That's a weird way to spell estrogen.
it is.
I mean, it's got the colors on it, so I don't. Maybe it's a typo. Maybe the caffeine is like they just wrote it down wrong. I don't know. It does have a big 5 on it. I don't know what that means, but how can you not trust a can that has a big 5 on it?
I mean, I trust everything with a big 5 on it. That's why I only eat Five Guys.
Yeah. I did I did get 5 Guys last week,
Mhm. How was it?
and then we all went for burgers afterward.
Ha ha.
And on that note, let's play the music.
It's mighty strange. If you look at happily deranged. I can you settle in bed? Or have you picked your target yet? It's ended. Don't you dog bite? It's ended.
That certainly was something. Anyway, it is Sunday. I am about ready to be 99% swamp ass. You are listening to Online for Maintenance, the theoretically official podcast of MMOFallout.com. This is episode 20. I'm a bit of a switch too. I'm Connor,
I'm Hannah.
and you can support financially whatever we do here at patreon.com/MMOFallout. That's patreon.com/MMOFallout. And
We
you
do
can,
stuff
huh?
sometimes. We do stuff
We do
sometimes,
stuff. And,
like
once a week or so.
I think there's something that goes on here
Occasionally.
occasionally. Sorry for
Um, and this podcast, I mean, most of the people are listening to this podcast on YouTube because podcast apps have absolute dog shit discoverability. And we are also, you can talk to us at the Sentinels of the Store Discord because they do good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Hannah,
Yeah.
You are also available at, you have a YouTube show
I
on
do.
occasion, right?
Yeah, I booted it up earlier last month, and then we did a little trial run, and then we're gonna pick it back up hopefully in September. We're at
Okay.
youtube.com/news cartridge. Yay.
That's that self-promotion.
Uh-huh.
Now, it is Sunday. It's been a week since we last talked. And have you played any video games this
I
last week?
actually I have gotten back into Sea of Thieves. It's
Tell me
fun.
more.
I am so happy. So the new season has launched. It's all like focusing around Reapers and stuff. Worst part is I haven't done anything related to the actual like season event stuff. I just got in, played a little while with my best friend, and we had a good little session. We made like 300,000 gold. There's new cosmetics. There's a bunch of new stuff added. You can put a new you can put a like a mobile cannon on your boat, like anywhere you want.
I
So
remember you mentioning that from the test server.
yeah. Because yeah, and I wasn't able to talk about it until it actually like got announced and everything. But it's really like now I can talk about anything because it's out in public. But it's really, really good. I like it because they've balanced it really well. I thought at first, you were gonna be able to put a cannon on your boat and then just, just start killing people, mowing people down with no, downside or anything. As soon as you find one, you're basically gonna rule the server. That's not the case at all. First of all, they can blow up. They can like blow up and like hurt your ship. So if you shoot it enough times, they just explode. So they're really not that great to begin with. Um, the cannon also gets hot. And if the cannon gets hot and explodes, you lose it. So you can't be constantly shooting out of it. You have to let it cool down.
Okay. What kind of
There's
cooldown are you talking about?
It's like a temperature gauge. You don't actually get any gauges in the game because of like the nature of the UI and everything. Everything is like, oh, I forget that like type of like you learn the stuff through your environment, through, observing your environment rather than through hard stats.
Right. But I mean, like,
Um
how quickly can you shoot the cannon?
oh, it can shoot like a regular cannon. It just you I think it's like 7 or 8 shots before it just explodes. So you have to take more time between shots to let it cool down, and then you can continuously fire from it.
Okay. I was
But
just curious on the balancing.
yeah, it's mostly the balancing of it is mostly centered around it being able to be destroyed. And if it does get destroyed, it blows up and hurts everybody and everything around it. So if it blows up and it's like if it's deployed on your boat, it will blow up and it will put holes in your boat and put your boat on fire.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's not really great to have one. And it's so I didn't want when I first heard about mobile cannons being in the game, or placeable cannons in the game, I was really like frightened. I was really afraid. But I was also remembering what they had done with the horn previously. Rare is very good about balancing things in the game. They seem to be aware of like how people are going to use things, the effect that this will have on gameplay, and a lot of it seems to be intentional. So when they are creating a mobile cannon, they're not just I didn't think that they were going to just create something that would be just so overpowered. But I wanted to see exactly how they did it. I like that it takes quite a long time to deploy the cannon. Like longer than your average like hold wheel. It's a little bit longer than usual. So you can't just like somebody's chasing you, put it up on the back of your boat and then shoot them away. You can't, if you're chasing somebody down, put it on the front of your boat, move it to the front of your boat and then just move it wherever you want. You have to basically put it in a spot and then leave it there, which I think is a really, really good thing, because otherwise if people are moving these things around, it would be too overpowered. What was really fun was during the test server, they gave you 2 cannons, like when you first started. So like you would log in and in the bar, there were just 2 cannons sitting there. So me and my friend were like, there's just cannons at the bars. Let's go get 10 cannons. So we had cannons everywhere we could on the boat. To the point where they were actually in some bad places and they were undeploying themselves, which was really interesting. But we had 3 cannons on the back. We had like 5 cannons on the side. As the driver, I had a cannon on my left and on my right. It was so much fun. But through that, we realized that like if these things blow up, if you have 2 cannons next to each other and one of them blows up, it's going to put the other one at like half heat. So it's going to, like, if you've shot anything out of it, it's a good chance that one's going to blow up too. So on bigger boats, like on a galley, if you do end up with more of these things and they do end up like chain reactioning, chain going off, it's just going to wreck your boat. So it's not great to have probably more than one.
Okay.
But I haven't found one yet. I need to get one. There is a whole new season pass, whole new season of rewards. They look really cool. I like them. And in traditional Sea of Thieves fashion, I played the game yesterday for like 4 hours and got like, out of 100 levels, I got like 20 levels. Just by playing the game. You don't have to really do anything. You just there's no real reason for a season pass. They just kind of did it because every other game does one now. They give you premium currency in the free season pass. It's like, what are they doing? But I love that.
It sounds like it's more out of obligation, like a feeling of obligation than anything.
But I love that about Rare, because they seem to be like, yeah, we're doing this out of obligation, but we're doing it our way. And there's a bunch of stuff in the premium shop. You can spend literally thousands of dollars on the game if you wanted to, and they're kind of just like, yeah, none of that's necessary. We'll give you stuff we'll give you some of that anyway for free every month. Like you get a free emote every month too. But yeah, I played a 4-hour session. It was honestly relatively boring. We queued up for the Hunter's Call, because there's new rewards for them too. Got about 1 million in, I think it was about 1 million in emissary reward credit, if not somewhere around there. We tried to chase down a ship. I saw a ship park at a, what are they called? A ritual. And so we're driving around a big rock to try to like sneak up on them. But we came around the other side of the rock. They saw us immediately. I think they were waiting to see what we were doing, and they took off. Also, they had the fortunateness of, there was a big mist cloud, just a big fog right next to them. So we lost them in 20 minutes. It was really, like, honestly, on my part, it was pathetic, because like I usually chase people down for over an hour. Like, but you can't see in a fog. It's really bad. Plus with HDR on, it makes everything really bright.
Ooh.
Rather than like dark. Because the sun's going through the fog, and you have more color data, so it's able to give you more brightness. Or at least I think that's what I'm not sure. But like it's really that game uses environmental obscurities, or it uses the environment in a very good way. So yeah, made about 300,000 gold. Not a whole lot that I can really say of note on that experience. But it was fun. I'm probably gonna be playing like every week now because I've got like a schedule set up with my friend because like work schedules have now lined up, so we're gonna be playing together every Saturday. So I look forward to playing more Reaper stuff. There's I gotta get 30 more Reaper chests now, and I gotta get up to 240 Reaper chests, 240 chests of fortune in order to get everything, and that's oh my god. I've got 118 chests of fortune and 188 Reaper chests. So what, 60 more Reaper chests to go and twice as many chests of fortune. That game has so much for you to do. Granted, a lot of it is just kind of do the same thing over and over again, but I think you want to be in the same gameplay loop because that's what allows you for other smaller loops to happen, and that's where your real fun's gonna occur. So yeah, I think that's really all I have to say about Sea of Thieves. I need to look more into like the new stuff, see what's going on.
Very fun.
Yeah, I hear Reaper have emissary quests now. So like when you get to level 5, you can actually like go back to the Reaper hideout and they'll give you stuff to do. So that's fun. Up next, I've been playing a new game. I bought a new game.
Minecraft.
Yes, I have been playing Minecraft still. My Minecraft journey does continue on. I don't remember what I did in the last week. I don't think I've done very much. I've been getting distracted with other things and just the holiday, I've got some family plans coming up that have been taking up some of my time. So, Minecraft goes slow, but it's mostly just clearing out the area that I have. I know I built another little farm to get some more wheat because I have a cow farm now, and I was like, "Where's all my bread going?" Oh yeah, that's right, cows. So I needed to expand my wheat farm. I need to pretty it up, is really what it comes down to, because the friend that I'm playing on the server with, I logged in and I am feeling outdone. I am feeling very outdone, and I need to get in and make some pretty stuff happen. So yeah, I need to come up with some ideas of like what I need, what I want to get built, and then start working on some like multiple structure builds. I think that's kind of what I want to go for, is like a little shopping area or maybe a little town or something. Not exactly sure yet, still deciding. But yeah, my really my next goal is mining. I need diamonds. I need diamonds bad. I think I only have like 3 to spare, and it's a hard server. Like the mobs have more, or like they do more damage, and yeah, like it's a lot harder. So I want to get diamonds, get out of my iron armor. Oh, Minecraft update. There's stuff coming to Minecraft. This is I know this just happened in the last couple of days. There's a new update there's a new snapshot that's come to Minecraft, and they are releasing the copper golem.
Nice.
Um I don't know. I know we talked a little bit about it, but I don't know if you've heard about the copper golem before or what it does.
You told me a little bit about it. I think we talked about it a little bit on the last episode.
Okay. Did we? I don't remember. But like yeah, it's going to be an item sorter for you. It's going to like sort items. And it looks really cool. The thing that I'm really interested in is it's going to add liveliness and animation to your builds, because you can have it like grab an item, move it somewhere, and then really take that same item and move it back to the same location. So you can have it look like somebody's walking through your area. And that's something I think Minecraft needs more of, is like animated things. Like how I was, the stove thing that I talked about, where you had talked about where I put a campfire underneath my stove so it looks like I'm cooking food.
Mhm.
Like yeah, we need more stuff like that. Minecraft has always been very static. and that needs to change. Not on every degree, but we don't need vehicles or anything. But it's good to have more than just minecarts.
Yeah.
But for real, I did buy a new game.
Really?
Because the Steam sale is on. Or is the Steam sale still on? Yes. Okay. Till Thursday. All right. So when the podcast goes, hopefully when the podcast goes up, the Steam sale is still on.
It'll be up on Wednesday for the public.
Cool. So get out there, buy some last minute games, everybody. I bought Manor Lords. Finally. It sat at the top of my wish list for I don't know how long. So I got it. I booted it up. I played it yesterday. And I fell asleep. I will talk about the little bit that I did get to play and the little bit that I did experience. Something I don't understand. How much does the crest or the banner thing that you make in the very, very beginning, it's effectively the character creator. There's you can make your own family crest, and there's different crests that you can make, and there's one crest that has 5 different sections, and you can customize each section individually how you want. You can scale the pictures that you put on it. I really want to know how much this plays into anything. Did they just give you a crest creator as a character creator instead of actually making a character? Because it's a colony sim, you're not playing a character. I'm just not sure, why is this so in-depth? Why do people really care about making a crest this badly? Am I that out of touch?
Maybe.
I think I am, because I know. All right, so Armored Core is a game that I have played for 20 years, and I love it. In it has an emblem creator, and people spend literally days making emblems, and they're all amazing. But that's more on a bit by, point by point by point, pixel by pixel level. This is just a patterns. You can, place patterns and do what you want. So it's more like preset stuff. Whereas the Armored Core allows you to complete creativity. You can literally draw in that if you want. So I'm not sure. I need to see. I want to see exactly how big of a change, or if the crest has any sort of impact on gameplay at all, or if it's just a crest you make.
I can't imagine it has any gameplay impact.
I don't think it does. I can't imagine that it would either. That's why I'm so confused as to why it's so in depth and why it's so customizable. It was
probably for those Armored Core people.
I guess so. And the Skyrim people who spend okay, I spent 4 days making this character. I'm going to play it for 2 and then make a new character.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's definitely for the customization folks.
Yeah. So I guess I'm just not that girl. I'm not that big into customization in that regard. So I was just kind of fascinated by it. But once I get into the game, it's gorgeous. I have not seen a city builder this good looking. And I didn't really do anything. And it was just, holy crap. The when you build a road, it'll have water in it, and all the water is different. All the puddles are different. I know that's done through tessellation and everything. I know how that's done, but it's still really impressive to see that this is a one-man developer team. This is one person, I think. Because the game's been in development for 7 years. It's been a long time that this thing has been in. And even when you load up, it's hey everybody, sorry that it's been a long time between updates. In fact, I think the developer just put one out and was like, hey, I know it's been a while, but we're working on stuff. Yeah, he posted one on July 3rd, and it starts out. I know it's been a while since the last update, but so it's like, yeah, and that's been something that I've seen in the criticism of the game is that does take a while to update. I don't mind that. I don't mind. I understand the nature of early access. I understand, especially when you have a very, very small group of people working on a game, that it's gonna take a long time. How long has Dwarf Fortress been in development? Like, 30 years or something?
Oh, it's been in development for a long time.
Yeah.
Over 20 years.
Yeah. And I remember when it was on Steam and it hadn't been released yet, and it had release date like time is an illusion.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because it was just like, we have no idea when we're going to get this to a playable state, and we really don't care. This thing's going to be done when it's done. So I'm excited to play it. There's a lot to the game because like you have to like grow crops, and you have to like mine stone and clay and iron and stuff. And my biggest complaint is that I think I got soft locked when I was playing.
Hmm.
Like my first playthrough, I think I got soft locked because it was like, hey, do this thing, build some houses for your people. And if you make sure that you don't spend too much, otherwise, you might not be able to do anything. But by that time, I had also built a what is it? Like a place where you can go hunt animals. And that took up some of the wood that I needed to build the next thing that I needed to continue on. So not only did I like fall asleep because I just didn't get very much sleep yesterday, I think I got soft locked. I think it like literally soft locked me. So they need to figure out because I kept trying to do what it told me to do, and I just couldn't do it. And that is kind of how I get when I get tired, is like I don't know what to do. But I was like, I knew what to do. It told me what to do. I was trying to do the thing. I don't think it was me being tired. So after podcast today, I'm definitely going to go back and try it again and give it a second go. I have had way more sleep. I'm way more awake now. So I'll be able to actually try it, give it a go, see how it is. I've been wanting to play this game for like a year. I love colony sims, I love city builders, and I even like medieval stuff. So it's I love castles, especially. Just something about them. So, and that's the thing, is you supposedly work your way up from like a you work your way up from tents to building a castle. So I'm excited for that. So what have you been playing this week, Connor?
Very little.
That's an interesting name of a game.
It is a very interesting name of a game. It's, in fact, it doesn't sound much of a game at all.
I don't know.
I bought the Switch 2 on
Ooh,
Saturday,
okay.
which is great because otherwise I would have nothing to talk about in terms of playing games. I've been doing a lot of reading this week.
Okay.
So my gaming has been mostly relegated to Forza Motorsport and Fortnite, and I really wouldn't have much to talk about for this podcast. But I went to GameStop. I traded in my Series S because it has been gathering dust for the better part of the last year. And I bought a Switch 2. And I bought the Switch 2 bundle with Mario Kart World. And I've been playing for the last day pretty much exclusively Mario Kart. I do want to point something out about the
Yeah.
Switch and about Nintendo. Because I kind of like Nintendo but Nintendo have a habit of going into dumb bullshit territory a lot.
Yeah.
Before the Switch 2 launched, they integrated this into the Switch, and it's a staple of the Switch 2, and it is virtual game cards.
Yeah.
And I want to explain how stupid virtual game cards are, and why it's a completely cosmetic, completely pointless thing that they did, that there's no reason to do. Now, on the Switch, virtual games, they completely rebranded it. I'm not talking about the physical cards.
Yeah.
They took the digital downloads and they rebranded them as virtual game cards.
Okay.
And what this did, so I kept my Switch.
Yeah.
Here's the process that I had to go through. I opened up my Switch, I logged into my Nintendo account, and it brought up my downloads. And I had, first thing I had to do was I had to download Mario Kart World, because the copy that you get is digital. It's not a physical copy. It's also not a code, which they did to prevent people from selling it. What happens is, the first account that you log into under your Switch 2, the game automatically gets added to that Nintendo account. So there's not even a code to redeem.
Okay.
So I sign into my account, I download Mario Kart World, and then I go to boot it up, and it says, this code, or this virtual game card, is assigned to your primary Switch. So what I had to do was I had to take my Switch, and also this is not a Switch 1 game.
Yeah.
I had to take my Switch, charge it, boot it up, link my virtual game cards from the Switch to the Switch 2, and then hit a button once it had linked to insert the cartridge into my Switch.
What?
So rather than having a system like any other console does, so like if you have a PlayStation, if you have two PS5s and you have the same game loaded on each system, like let's say you have a PlayStation for the kids and a PlayStation for yourself.
Yeah.
You download Ratchet and Clank on both systems. You can't play it on both systems at the same time, but you can play it on both systems. As
Yeah.
you have like a parent account and a kid account. Don't correct me if I'm wrong on that. I know PlayStation has loosened up restrictions on shared games. You might be able to play it now. That's not the point.
Yeah, gotcha. But fair, I get what you're saying.
With the digital card system, if I have like Breath of the Wild as a digital download, if I have that loaded into my Switch, if I want to play it on the Switch 2, I have to go to my Switch, eject the virtual card before I can insert the virtual card into my Switch 2 and play it.
Are you shitting me?
It's utterly stupid.
Oh my, what?
And it actually has
Oh my god, this is so
like
dumb.
they call them virtual cards. And I'll show you with Captain Toad's treasure tracker. You go in, and normally under the old system, under the old software, you go into your library and you hit download. And the game downloads, and you play the game. Under the new system, I go in, it pulls up the fake game cartridge, and I have to hit load onto this system. When I hit load onto the system, it inserts the fake cartridge into the console, and then I can download it.
But you can only do that once if the cartridge was inserted into the other system, you have to eject the cartridge from the other system before you can even download it.
Yes. And so like when you it adds extra steps, because when you delete a game from your system, you expect it to go away from the main menu, right? Doesn't happen. You have to delete the game, you have to delete the software from the game itself, and then go in here and pick the option to unload so you have to go to show how stupid this is. If I want to remove Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker from my system, I stop the download, it's still there. I have to go into the virtual cards, I have to log in, I have to go to Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, hit options, eject from the system, hit OK, and it ejects the fake cart from the system. Something that would be 3 button presses is now like 10, because I have to uninstall the game before I eject it from the system.
You wait, you can't eject it until you've uninstalled it?
No.
No. Oh no. Okay, so
Here's
my
the
God.
extra fun part. It still doesn't remove it. I have to go in, hit options, manage software, delete the icon from the home menu. And only then will Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker disappear.
Well, I'm glad that Nintendo thinks bandwidth grows on trees, because that's what this means, is that like you're gonna have to re-download the game. Say you own 2 Switches between, your family owns 2 Switches, but you only own 1 digital copy of the game.
So you can eject it and insert it without having to delete the software.
Okay, fine.
But
Okay.
you have to delete the software and eject it before you can remove it from the home screen.
Gotcha. Okay.
But again,
Okay.
it is so many more steps for everything than it needs to. Someone at Nintendo had to deliberately figure out how to make it more cumbersome than it ever needed to be. And that got put through, that got like quality tested, that went through multiple offices, and they're like, yeah, it's great.
Because if you're just gonna remove the software from the system, just all right, well, it just be like, that's gonna eject the cartridge too. You just be like, okay, and then be done.
Right. And also, if it's if it's a way of tracking licensing, there's so many ways to do that behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I feel like with Nintendo being Nintendo, someone at Nintendo Japan was like, some guy in his 60s was like, no, this is fun, right? Like, this is customer engagement. We have, they want, it's the feeling of inserting the cartridge without having a cartridge.
That's really dumb.
It is stupid.
That I don't understand the reason they've done this.
It makes the process of downloading games so much more annoying.
Because wait, can you download it if it's inserted in, like, say it's inserted on your Switch 1, can you download it on the Switch 2 then?
I don't know.
Okay, because but you would still have to eject it from the Switch 1 in order to, like, the Switch 1 in order to insert it into Switch 2. I want to say eject and then inject.
I will have to try that out.
Because if you can't download it, they're really just putting so many barriers. They're I understand what they're doing because they're worried about people selling and or sharing digital games.
Yeah.
Um, but they're
Yeah.
doing it in a way that's like they're punishing people who are spending money.
Yeah. Let me try it with this. So I have Animal Crossing New Horizons loaded onto my Switch 1. Yep. Okay. So yeah. Um I tried to boot I tried to go to I booted up
We're doing it live, everybody.
we are doing it live. I I have Animal Crossing New Horizons on my Switch 1,
Yeah.
and I went to my library on the Switch 2, and I just went to click on it. Um there's no option to just download the content.
Really?
The only option that I get is load onto the system and lend to a family group member. Um But if I click on it, if I click on load into the system, it says eject from the other system and load onto the system.
So you cannot download the software until it's ejected.
Right. So like I can't play Animal Crossing on here while I load it. Like if I want to download Animal Crossing on my Switch 2, I can't do that. I can't play Animal Crossing on the Switch while I wait for the game to download. Alternately, unless I have to do some crazy system where I ejected from the Switch, loaded onto the Switch 2, ejected from the Switch, loaded into the Switch 2, start the download, ejected from the Switch 2, load it back onto the Switch. I don't know if that's possible, but that would be the only way that I could actually play it on here while I'm downloading it on the other system.
Nintendo's next console is just going to be called Hoops. Jump through them.
I have the Nintendo Ring, the exercise thing, the exercise ring.
Yeah, okay.
So there is literally Nintendo jump through hoops.
Yeah, fair. All right, yeah. No, this
But
is
they're
just making you
so
jump through hoops,
stupid.
though. This is so dumb. That doesn't make any sense. They're very much inconveniencing people who have a Switch 1.
They're
'Cause we don't have a
inconveniencing people who have multiple Switches.
Yeah, and yeah, multiple Switches. This like it's just nothing about this really makes sense. And Nintendo's been very like, hey, we want the family playing games. Like, how is the family gonna play games if they're like, whose Switch is this injected in? Who injected? Who's this Switch installed on? Like, who has this cartridge inserted? Please, like,
Yeah.
like say you own 3 of them, like say you and you have 2 kids and they each have their own. It's like, all right, now I got to go around the fucking house.
Now here's the other thing that they did that I kind of forgot about, and then I remembered when you talked about the household.
Okay.
You have to sync. You have to sync the Switches. This is a and I don't know if this is a way to like grab at people who are sharing accounts, doing like family accounts that are not actually close family.
Yeah.
The Switches have to be within physical proximity to each other to synchronize the virtual game cards. So like if you have a like if your kid if you have a kid like if you have an adult kid, or like say they don't live with you but you have the Nintendo account and you like share the virtual libraries, you cannot sync those game cards unless the Switches are within physical proximity to each other.
Because I
It's
mean,
so stupid
that
and
is really
unnecessarily
stupid.
cruel.
Because like, yeah, I get it. It's supposed to be a family share thing. If you want to do it with your friends, I don't think that the Nintendo should be stopping you. It's a service they provide. You don't have to use it exactly how they have described it. You
Right.
know, as long as you're paying for it, as long as nothing like in that regard. is being violated. Like, but yeah, I agree. Like, what about your adult kid who also plays Switch with you? Like, when you and you share digital games, like, how is that not family sharing? That would that's not even like a loose definition. What, you don't live together? Yeah, I don't live with all of my family. Like, who does?
Yeah. Um,
That's
so
insane.
I wanted to talk. I guess I can talk about Mario Kart World now.
So how is it? I've heard nothing but good things.
I love it. Um, I mean, it's Mario Kart. The big changes are that it's 24 player races
Yeah,
now. Um,
which that's cool.
yep. I have not done much in the way of the free roam. Um, there's free roam modes on the maps where they have little mini games and challenges that have to do with the game itself. And I haven't tried much of that. I've been playing the Grand Prix and I've been playing the Knockout. The Grand Prix is what you would expect from the Grand Prix. It's 4 races, you get points, you know. Um it looks good. And also they made it so the Knockout is a series of it's a series of 6 maps, and each map is 1 lap, and you immediately go into the next map. Like I really like it. I really like what they did with it because each kind of Grand Prix is set up in a way that the maps are thematically consistent. So like you go from in like Knockout, you go from one map to the next, and it's just it feels very seamless. Um, and then every map, it's kind of like F-Zero, where like the first thing there's 24 people, and it's like you have to be in the top 20, then 16, then 12, then 8, then 4, then 1. Um, I like how they have the time trials, of course. They have versus races and the battle mode. Another big change from the last game is there are grind rails.
Ooh,
And
okay.
it's really just a method of getting more boost. You don't have to do anything to grind. Um, it's basically just like a straightaway version of the drifting.
There's no like balancing that you have to do like Tony Hawk.
No, you're
Okay,
not
yeah,
going to fall off.
yeah. That's not. I don't think that would be really. A balance mechanic wouldn't really work for Mario Kart.
Yeah.
So that's good. I think
Um,
I think I kind of like that you can grind without having to like. You just do it.
yeah. There are a metric shitload of characters.
I did see that. Yeah, like every Nintendo character you could basically think of.
Yeah. There are, to my understanding, it's like 80 characters in the game.
Wow.
And I like the fact that they did it while keeping it very Mario focused. Um, there's a charm to it, even
Mhm.
though there aren't that many mainline Mario characters. So like they have obscure like you can play as Charge and Chuck.
Who is that?
That's the guy from I want to say Super Mario 3, the football kind of guy that like with the helmet that charges at you.
Oh yeah, him. Okay.
You can play as like the penguin from Super Mario 64,
Oh,
the
that
the crab, Monty Mole, Wiggler, the Hammer Bros.
aren't all the Koopa kids in it?
I think one of them is. I'm
Oh,
not entirely sure. There's still a bunch of characters that I haven't unlocked yet. I don't think all of the Koopa kids are in. They have all the baby characters, the baby versions of characters. They have like Birdo, the snowman, the like characters from Super Mario Sunshine, characters from the NES games, the SNES games, just all kinds of characters. They have the new Donkey Kong, which is weird looking. But yeah, I like the amount of racers that the game has. I like the levels in the game. There's no doubt in my mind that they're going to have an absolute shitload of DLC.
Yeah,
And
of course.
playing this kind of reminded me of kind of made me feel how spoiled I was with Mario Kart 8, because that game had an absolute assload of levels by the time they put all the DLC in. And there's no doubt in my mind that we'll see the packs of like prior game levels be added back in over time, because the DLC for Mario Kart 8 was also insanely like profitable for them. But I do like it. I've been playing mostly as the cow
Ooh, okay.
because it's hilarious and adorable. There's much less emphasis this time on the characters that you choose and the vehicles that you choose, on how it affects your performance. Not that it was ever big to begin with. Um, but it is fun. I'm playing in a tournament later today, which is why we're recording this as early as we are.
Good luck.
Yep. I haven't played much online, so I'm not sure how the Switch version holds up. I imagine it'll be fine. The Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U was kind of dog shit, but that was the Wii U's online infrastructure.
Yeah.
I played the Switch quite a bit, and Mario Kart 8 on the Switch was perfectly fine. Which is, it's I think it was just really good netcode for the game, because when you're playing a game like Mario Kart, you're playing against people from Japan constantly,
Yeah.
and I never had any noticeable lag on the Mario Kart 8, and I
Yep.
assume Mario Kart World will be pretty much the same.
I played a little bit of Mario Kart 8 on the Switch online. I haven't paid for the online thing in a little while, but like when I first got Mario Kart, I was playing it online. I didn't even know, like, there was barely any difference between like connectivity between like computer players and real players. Everything just felt really seamless in that regard.
Right. And it's interesting. Like, I also like the little things that they added in. They added in costumes for like they added in, instead of doing what Mario Kart 8 did, where like Mario Kart 8 had like Peach and Golden Peach and Tanuki Peach, but as separate characters.
Yeah.
They added in a ton of costumes, alternate costumes that are just alternate costumes rather than additional characters.
I think that's a good idea, because like Metal Mario is always a favorite, and just give Mario a paint job,
Yeah. I like the Knockout Tour. I like the fact that there's 24 characters makes the matches a lot more hectic, as you might expect.
Yeah, but I
But
figured that would
it is
also work for Mario Kart.
yeah. They have a few new I like the way a lot of the maps are, in that they're not usually the first level of each tour is self-contained. Like, it's circular, But then every level after that is it's kind of like if you remember something like Wario Mountain from the Wii, where you're not doing 3 laps, but you're doing 3 segments of a map. So like the maps that you're playing as, you're not doing cycles, you're not playing the same map just 3 times in a row. You're going through different areas.
Yeah, so
So
it's not
it's
as
all
boring.
one line from start to finish, and then each lap is just counted as a segment of that track. There is a really good one in the first level in the first Grand Prix, where it all culminates in a gigantic recreation of Super Mario Bros, where you're going up the scaffolding, and you have this giant mecha Donkey Kong that's like throwing barrels, and like each landing of it has its own gimmick. And I think it's a lot of fun.
That sounds really cool. Well, now I want to Switch too. You've sold me.
It is fun. There are 7 cups right now in the game, and apparently, well, I say apparently, they are definitely going to be adding more in an update somewhere down the line. They haven't explicitly given a timeline, but I think during the announcement they did say stuff will be coming in the future. And also, we know it's Nintendo. Stuff will be coming in the future. There's 100-something retro tracks that they need to fit into the new game. But also, I subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online, so they usually give those as long as you're subscribed, they usually give you those expansions. I do need to check out, because I do own Breath of the Wild. If you're a Nintendo Switch subscriber, you do get the upgrade expansion pack for free.
Oh, cool.
Otherwise, I think it's like $10.
It is $10.
Which isn't. I don't know why people were freaking out about that. That's $10 is nothing.
I thought the way they did it with Tears of the Kingdom was better. Just charge $70 fucking for it and don't do DLC. I thought that was
Right.
way better. And
Well,
that's where when
I'm talking specifically about like if you own the Switch version and you upgrade to the Switch and you put it in the Switch 2. Like I'm talking about like the performance, visual, the patches and upgrades that they did for the Switch to the Switch 2 version.
Yeah, fair.
$10. But I like it. The big question, would I have spent... So the Mario Kart World was $50.
Yeah.
Because I got the bundle. Would I have liked it as much if I paid $80 for it? Probably. I mean, I'm a cheap ass, so there would be a part of me personally that would be like, oh, I spent $80 on this. But also, it is a good amount of fun. I'm a cheap ass. If I spend like if you gave me a Wagyu steak for $20, I would eat it. But in the back of my head, I'd still be like, I spent $20 whole on dinner. But that's
I don't mind being a cheap ass, but at the same time, I stare at a $200 figure in my cabinet every day, so it just depends on what you like.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the I need to go. I need to I went on to GameFly and I just loaded a bunch of Switch 2 games into my queue. One thing that I definitely did not buy was that absolute dog shit demo, tech demo that they put out for the Switch 2, where it goes. It's like little mini games to show you the Switch 2's features. Nintendo charged $10 for it.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Something, but still, it's not a game.
It should be free.
It's literally just a thing that you boot up and your character is on a Switch 2, and then you walk around and it's like here's a test of the HD Rumble. Like it's not like Wii Sports. It's not
Or
that
like
level of
1-2
game.
Switch.
It's just a tech demonstration.
Because like 1-2 Switch, I was like, people complain that like this should be free because like it's basically showing off what the Switch can do. But like that would at least had a game
That was the
behind it.
game.
Yeah, that
1-2
was a
Switch
game.
was a game. This is a tech demo.
No, okay, fine. Then this should be free. This should literally be like the thing that sells you on it. Like that should be the thing of like, oh, this is why I upgraded.
I haven't talked to a single person that bought that software that didn't regret it afterward.
Well, how many times are you gonna play it?
Once.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's my gaming for the week. I don't know how much Forza Motorsport I'm going to play. I've kind of lost enthusiasm for it after Microsoft laid off and canceled the Forza Motorsport series.
I didn't hear about that.
That was part of the big Microsoft layoffs this week.
Oh.
So yeah, that's the games that we played. And I have a couple of games to talk about since we're on the subject of re-releases. There's two notable re-releases coming out this week. First one is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4.
Ooh. I love Tony
Developed
Hawk.
by Iron Galaxy Studios and published by Activision. The Pro Skater 3 and 4, it's going to be $50 on release when it comes out on July 11th. There is a digital deluxe edition that weirdly comes with Doom tie-ins.
Huh.
And of course, they're doing the get the game 3 days early if you get the digital deluxe edition.
I don't like that.
The Doomslayer and Revenant playable skaters also include 2 secret moves. And there's additional songs included with the in-game soundtrack.
I don't like that
rough.
either. Yeah, I don't like that either because I know how these things work. And so, you get 2 additional soundtracks that eventually they'll take away from you because the license will expire.
Yep. But yeah, the advertising is get hyped up for the legendary franchise to return with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Everything you loved is back, but revamped with more skaters, new parts, gnarlier tricks, eardrum-shattering music, and a whole lot more.
Okay, I do kind of love the Ninja Turtles in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
There is cross-play online multiplayer, up to 8 people.
Ooh.
There is expanded create a skater and create a park mode, including the ability to create custom goals. There is a new game plus mode. I don't know what that means in the context of a Tony Hawk game.
Last one I played was 2. Actually, no, I played a little bit of 3 on GameCube.
And yeah. So yeah, I mean it's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 in 4K.
Yay.
And then the second game that we have is one that I will probably be getting at some point soon. It is the re-release of Patapon 1 and 2.
Patapon 1 and 2. Okay, what is this?
So Patapon is a game from the PSP era, and I fucking love these games. It is a it's sort of a real-time strategy game. It is a rhythm real-time strategy game where you have 4 drums, and the way that it works is you learn the rhythms to give your characters orders, and you have to hit it in sync and then hit them in the right order, and then you have your patapons that move. So like I'm going from memory here.
Yeah.
And each button has its own command. So like to get them to move forward, you hit pada 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 pon. I believe the attack command is pon pon pada pon.
Mm-hmm.
So like you have to remember what the orders are, and you have to give your characters orders while at the same time, getting them from left to right, attacking enemies, defending. And it gets really high intensity because like every command is 4 commands. So like you see an attack coming in and you have to process it and then remember this is the command to defend.
Mm.
And you have to get the 4-button command in properly before the attack hits. So
Sounds
like
a
you have
little
to
bit.
go on the offensive and the defensive.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like Helldivers.
It's very intense.
I love the
it.
graphics on it though. I like the black and white, or like the emphasis on black.
The controls are comprised of 4 rhythmic beatings of pata, pon, don, and chaka.
Okay, cool.
So and you have to remember the commands in your head of like moving, attacking, defending, doing different things as the need arises on the battlefield. It's very hard. I mean,
It
like a
looks
lot of the
great.
rhythm games from that era were very difficult. But it is I have nostalgic memories of this from my PSP.
Yeah, you sound excited. Very excited.
This game is really good.
I'll look into it.
But that comes out July 10th.
Ooh.
Hopefully they don't fuck it up. But those are the 2 games that I have to talk about. I have a couple of news stories and then we'll drop out. First news story is, in case you haven't noticed, Microsoft had a big round of layoffs. They've canceled a bunch of shit, affected about 9,000 employees.
Jesus. Wow.
To add to the horror, it was noted, I was reading up and someone pointed out that part of the layoffs were effectively a big robbery of employees. Because one of the ways that Microsoft does its benefits is they give employees unvested shares that take like 7 years to mature. So the employees that got laid off lost their unvested shares. They went back to the company.
Oh, okay.
And it seems likely that was a big part of the layoffs was just Microsoft robbing their employees. So of course they could funnel it back into their executives. So the list of casualties is piling up. Rare's fantasy game Everwild has been canceled. Greg Males, who's been at the company for over 35 years, announced that he's no longer there. He's the big Banjo-Kazooie guy.
Yeah, I noticed. I saw that because Sea of Thieves.
The reboot of Perfect Dark has been canceled.
Was that coming to PC? It wouldn't because it's fucking Xbox.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. You fucking pissed this girl off. Oh fucking hell. I love Perfect Dark. How the fuck? All right, I'll save it. I'll save it. I'll save
The
it.
reboot of Perfect Dark has been canceled. Romero Games has ended development of their new shooter IP because it was being bankrolled by Microsoft, and Microsoft pulled funding. Forza Motorsport has been canceled as a series entirely, with a number of layoffs at Turn 10, the developer. Apparently, they're going to only develop Forza Horizon games going forward.
Okay. That's weird. That's odd.
I think it's because of Microsoft's multi-platform approach, and Forza Motorsport has always been more niche than Forza Horizon being a racing sim. And
Yeah.
also, there's no chance of Forza Motorsport doing well on the PlayStation because Gran Turismo already has that market.
Yeah, fair.
ZeniMax Studios announced that their unannounced MMO has been canceled. King laid off 200 people, which is about 10% of the staff.
Damn.
So yeah, just a ton of games being canceled that we know about. There's a lot of other games at Microsoft that people haven't heard from in a while that they're kind of wondering, are those games going to be canceled now? But yeah, yay capitalism.
Yay.
All of this, I should point out, all of this comes on the head of Microsoft announcing that they're funneling $80 billion more into AI shit. The company Microsoft says that we're doing better than ever, and yet they're laying off 9,000 people and canceling a ton of games. It is the fourth round of layoffs at Microsoft in under 2 years. Aren't we all happy that Microsoft was able to buy Activision Blizzard?
I know, right?
Who would have thought that allowing a monopoly would have such negative results? Even though Microsoft told the FTC, we're not going to do anything bad with this, just trust us. So yeah. Layoffs. Also at a time when, if you remember from a few episodes ago, Microsoft drastically raised the price of their console and
Yeah.
accessories.
Which was very odd because consoles don't usually get price increases. They usually drop in price over time.
Right.
So it was quite odd to see that happen because Sony didn't raise their price of the PlayStation, right?
I don't think so. They raised the price of PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, but that makes sense. That makes sense that they would do it there.
Right.
Because I feel like they could get away with it more there. They can, because people
Yeah.
buy that, the console players think that it costs money to do that anyway.
Right. There was definitely a bit of corporate trolling because if I remember correctly, Sony did a big Sony pushed out a big sale the weekend that Microsoft upped the price of the Xbox. They had a sale on the console. Now, my second bit of news is one that I understand. It's Nintendo. We're talking about Nintendo again.
Oh no. Okay.
Nintendo president Shintaro Furukawa believes that the pricing of the Switch 2 is appropriate for all ages, and that people who can afford a Switch 2 should engage with Nintendo characters elsewhere. They had an investor call, and one investor was concerned about the price point of the new console compared to prior, where Nintendo has always been like the affordable console.
Yeah, they still are.
Yeah. I mean, especially after Microsoft bumped up the price of its systems.
Yeah.
And he said during the investor call, we believe the pricing of the Nintendo Switch 2 is appropriate for the gaming experience it offers. And what is most important is to provide entertaining experiences that demonstrate the value to consumers. To achieve this goal, we have incorporated various features, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
He says, it is true that Nintendo Switch 2 has a higher price point than our past gaming systems. We are creating various opportunities outside of our gaming systems for young children to engage with Nintendo characters and game worlds, with one of the ultimate goals being that they will eventually play on our gaming systems. We are closely monitoring to what degree the price of the system might become a barrier. So, at the very least, Nintendo is acknowledging the feedback that the Switch 2 is expensive. Now, the question is, will they do anything about it? Because in addition to being expensive, the Switch 2 is also a gigantic fucking seller.
Yeah.
In large part because Nintendo, and I think we talked about this months ago, where the rumors down the grapevine were that Nintendo was making sure that there would be plenty of Switches available. And there were. I went into GameStop, I got my Switch too because I went into GameStop just on a whim on a Saturday night. No, Friday night, like 15 minutes before the store closed, and they had Switch 2s.
Yeah.
They've been next to impossible to get online because they sell out really quick. But if you go into stores, they've been apparently very easy to find.
I was there last week and they have them.
Yeah.
Like, and they even
So I
told
went
me
in, I asked it, like, because I've mentioned this before where I said I was eventually going to buy a Switch 2, but I wasn't going to put any effort into finding a Switch 2.
Yeah. Which
And
is
I
the
put
best
no
way to
effort
do it.
into it. Yeah. I got my Xbox. I went back at 10 o'clock the next morning when they opened it up. I traded in my system, bought the Switch 2.
Yeah, just exactly what you were hoping for.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
they've handled the launch really well. And the disconnect between the internet and consumers is huge. Because if you look at Reddit, all you'll hear is that, like, Nintendo's doing $80 games. This is going to bankrupt them. Nobody's going to buy it. Oh. People are buying it. In the other Discord I'm on, my fear was that because it's been a month since the Switch 2 came out. My curiosity was how many people would actually sign up for the tournament. Like, how many people are really going to have a Switch 2 by now? There's 16 people that have signed up. And
Yeah.
it's not a massive Discord.
I have an idea of why they've done this.
And the funny thing is a lot of those people were people who were originally very skeptical about the Switch 2,
Mhm.
and then they went out and fucking bought one.
Well, I think I have a pretty good idea of why Nintendo has done this. And it's not to sell more Switches. It's really, that's just the thing. Scalpers.
Yeah.
They have gotten associated with the Nintendo console is going to cost $1,000.
Right.
They don't want that reputation. They would rather have it, no, it's $500 and it's available for everyone.
Yeah.
That was the big thing, is like Switch ones were they were like $400 when they like first debuted, and they were going for $1,000 online.
You couldn't get I pre-ordered my Switch and I got it launch night at GameStop, but you couldn't get a Switch for a year and a half after it came out.
Yeah,
and then when COVID happened, you could not get a Switch anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You couldn't get Nintendo DSs anywhere during COVID. I remember that. I had so many offers from GameStop to try to buy my pre-owned 3DS and new 3DS. because they were trying to flip that market.
Oh yeah.
Even the Wii U massively blew up in price.
But people have associated, oh, the new Nintendo has come out. I cannot believe how like conditioned Nintendo has made people. Because
Yeah.
I've talked to a couple of people and they're all like, you know, they probably don't have it. They probably don't have it. I've told a couple of people, no, go to GameStop. They have it. Every time I've gone into GameStop, they've had Switch 2s. And it's people are genuinely surprised because the thing is that like with most products these days, with the PS5, with even with the Xbox to some degree, I'm seeing it a lot now with Pokemon cards because I'm back into Pokemon cards. Scalpers just come in, buy everything they can, and then leave. Store limits have really helped have helped this because it's literally been like one per party or one per customer or one per whatever. But there's enough of them that scalpers, I feel like if a scalper can buy 50 of them and they have 200, scalper's not going to buy 50 of them.
I love the stories online of the scalpers getting financially ruined.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely.
And that's exactly what happened with this, because so many scalpers bought up a ton of Switch 2s. And my favorite story with the scalpers is a similar thing happened toward the tail end of the PS5 being hard to find. The scalpers who buy a bunch of units then try to return them all to the store, and the store's like, nah, fuck you.
I used to work at Target many years ago, and I literally saw, it was during the holiday season, I literally saw somebody bring in a cart full of this board game. I don't know what game it was. I forget what game it was, but it was like they said that it was supposed to be like the hot game of the season, but nobody bought it from them. Target took it back though. Yeah, I know. I would have rather seen a scalper cry.
Yep.
Scalper tears are delicious.
Anytime a scalper's life is ruined, an angel gets its wings.
Mario gets a green mushroom.
I hope the scalpers, I hope that they're financially ruined. I hope that their kids never talk to them because they blew their college fund on trying to scam people. I hope their wife divorces them because they realize how stupid and shitty of a person that they've married to. And I hope that their dick never works again.
I hope someone puts pickles on their cheeseburger.
But yeah, no, every time those people suffer, it brings me joy. Because we had that period ever since like 2018, 2019 of just every major launch of a thing being fucking ruined by scalpers with their bots.
This does not
and I just want nothing but misery for all of them.
Yeah, but this does not seem to be occurring with this specific product.
Yeah.
Thankfully. But like really, the just animosity people have been conditioned to for game consoles is crazy. So I think that Nintendo's trying to be like, at the very least, no, our shit's available. You walk into a GameStop, you walk into a Target, you walk into a Walmart, it's there. Like, I think that's really what they're going for.
Yeah, you can tell that years of reputation have really grown on Nintendo, because that was the thing during the 3DS era. Is everyone talked about Nintendo being the company for scalpers because you could not get Amiibo. You could not it was the big thing where Nintendo would announce a limited edition 3DS, and by the end of the 3DS timeline, people were just like, who gives a shit? They're going to put out it's going to feel like they're going to put out 1,000 of these. Nobody's ever going to get one, and they're just going to be put up on the internet for $1,000.
Yeah. Oh, the Zelda one that my wife has. Like, I walked in and I was like, "You guys probably don't have this, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, we got two."
Yeah.
Yeah, so I bought
Because
one.
I worked at GameStop during that era. We would get three. If we were lucky, and the store that I worked at was one of the highest performing in sales in the area. We might get we would get like 2 or 3 reservations for one of the special systems. They might send us 4 total. So we would
Yeah.
have like one system that wasn't already claimed.
No, and that's I think when I bought that one, I think they had 4 of them and there were 3 people in line. I was like
Yeah.
I think I was second in line and the last one they said was already reserved.
Yeah.
So it's like the 3 of us got lucky.
Yeah.
Got so lucky. So yeah, I really like that Nintendo has like really learned because if people can't play the damn thing, they can't tell their friends. If they're not telling their friends, they're not getting the best kind of advertising from Nintendo. And
Yeah.
then if like granted, I don't want the thing right now because there's really not that many games on it other than Mario Kart.
Right.
But if I can't buy it and I can't if I know my friends can't have it, I can't play it, and I want to just play it with my friends, I'm gonna wait on buying it, even
Yeah.
if I can find one.
And as a console manufacturer, you don't want the systems going to scalpers because the scalpers aren't buying video games. The
No, they
scalpers
don't
aren't
care.
subscribing to Nintendo Switch Online. They're not buying DLC. You're not getting while the console is in the hands of scalpers, you're not you get that initial sale, but you're not getting any of the money that the like Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony actually want, which is the continued revenue.
Not only that, they tend to take a little bit of a loss on the hardware anyway,
Yeah.
and that's why that's why
Nintendo
we
does.
think, well, yeah, fair, but like that's
Sony and Microsoft do. Nintendo does not take loss on their systems.
they don't make a huge profit though.
Right. But
They
they don't make a loss.
They don't. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But like the margins are very slim. I
Yeah.
hadn't really even considered that while the console is in the scalper's hands, they're not making the money they want to make.
Mhm.
They don't care. To be fair to, really, I'm boiling it down. They don't care about the sale. They don't care about the money from the console. They care about
It's
the
not
sales
as
from the
important.
console. Yeah. They want the game. They want you to buy games because
Yeah.
you're gonna buy 20 games. You're only gonna buy 1, maybe 2 systems.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I have 30 Switch games. I don't know. I don't know how many I have. I have a lot, but I have 2
I have a good
Switches.
amount of them.
I'm not buying Switches. I'm buying games.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
That's a great point.
that's all I got for this week. I have this red ginseng dermal mask
Ooh,
that's
I
going
should
on my
do mine.
face once we're done.
Yeah, I should do mine. I gotta find it. I don't know where.
But yeah. So yeah, that's the episode for this week. We got about I mean, we're like this actually went longer than I thought it would. It's like an hour and a half.
Well, we're
Um
content creators. That's what we do.
so yeah, we'll be back next week as always. Hopefully the disgusting heat wave will be a little bit better in my house. It is 89 degrees right now. It is 89 degrees with my fans going.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But until then, I'm Connor.
I'm Hannah.
You can fund my move to a place with actual air conditioning by signing up at patreon.com/MMO Fallout for as little as $1 a month. You can save me from the summer heat and buy me more clearance blouses.
Ooh, yes, they're lovely. I love
Um,
them.
I'm just
You look
kidding.
so
All the
good.
money goes into hosting fees right now. But
Don't forget about my McDoubles. The money does go to my McDoubles too. Let's be fair.
true. And you can check us out on Sentinels of the Store. Check out our shit posting. And new episode comes out every week.
Yay.
Monday for patrons and Wednesday for the public. And until then, I guess this is the part where I should actually cue up the outro music.
Yeah, this helps.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks for being here. Love you. Bye. Mwah.
Hey Cindy, does your dog bite? Hey Cindy. Hey Cindy, does your dog bite? Hey Cindy.
Video games.